Hi, I'm Dennis, here to tell you how to save your kids from mind-warping government education by enrolling them in an online classical Christian school for only $500 annual tuition. Kingsway Classical Academy is the best of all homeschooling programs and is actually the world's first online classical Christian school for grades 7 to 12. This school only charges $500 annual tuition, compared to much more at other online schools. It's a new approach to education that, number one, utilizes the power of the internet to cut costs to the bare minimum, and number two, returns education to the way it used to be before government got involved. It used to be that education taught people to think analytically and speak persuasively, not just parrot back isolated facts on a test like they do so often in the government schools today. You know, every time government gets involved in something beyond its basic biblical function of enforcing justice in the courts of law, it messes up big time. You know that, and I know that, and education is no exception. Let's face it, government education is a mess, and there's just no fixing it. All it does is suck up massive amounts of tax money to provide extravagant salaries, plush retirements, and massive amounts of waste. We all know how they get to the end of their fiscal year and they have to spend it all just to get the same budget next year, while the rest of us are struggling to make ends meet. But did you know that the Portland Oregonian back in 2007 reported in an informal research study that public school graduates said the biggest thing missing from their education was, number one, critical thinking skills, and number two, communication skills. These lie at the heart of a true education. These skills are priceless. They've been built into the fabric of every course at Kingsway for only $500 annual tuition. This is education the way it was meant to be before government got hold of it, a classical Christian education. It's not some highbrow prep school like some other online Christian schools. Every child needs this training no matter what their career path. They won't get it at public school or in other homeschooling programs. If you are a Christian parent, you probably wouldn't put your kids in an Islamic school, would you? Why then is it that so many Christian parents place their kids in an atheistic school where God is outlawed without even batting an eye? It just doesn't make sense. There's something wrong with that picture. It has to do with the myth of neutrality. When God tells us in Psalm 1 regarding the education of our children not to sit in the seat of the scornful or stand in the way of sinners, it's presumptuous for us as Christian parents to disobey God and place our kids in an ungodly government school system. The other thing that every child desperately needs is a biblical worldview. That's something they will never get in the government schools, nor with most other homeschooling programs. Biblical worldview scores of Christian kids in public school and most other online Christian schools have dropped every year for the past 20 years. The only kids whose worldview scores have risen at all are those with a classical Christian approach, plus a few other smaller homeschooling programs. So I invite you to examine our course offerings at the link below. Then go ahead and enroll in our diploma program. The only fees are a $25 enrollment fee and $75 technology fee per semester. Payment may be made up front or spread out on PayPal with 4 $175 payments for the next 4 months or $70 for the next 10 months. At that price, there's just no reason for any Christian child to remain in the atheistic government school system. So I welcome you to Kingsway Classical Academy on behalf of myself and our staff of expert teachers. They've been assembled from all over the nation. They're available to answer all your questions and give you the classical Christian education that every child deserves. Click now.